Howdy, folks. It's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. It's just before midnight, and we're going to look at some miniatures. Many of you might have seen my So Many Minis video that I did a few days ago, where I dug into some boxes buried in the garage, looked at different things in there. Well, I'm going to start looking into some of those boxes and crates that I found there, and I'm going to keep digging through more boxes, but this is my old style hard plastic hardware case, like you'd put, screws and nuts and bolts and all those goody things in. This is what I stored my painted miniatures, the miniatures that I did in the 80s and into the very early 1990s. So let's take a look at what we got here. Let's see now. I think I know where there. This guy here, let's see, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna put a card here, plop him down, zoom in, and I'll pick him up in a minute, but that's my first dude, a barbarian. He's got really pasty white skin. I'm not an artist. I'm not an artistic type at all. I hated art in school. I was a math dude and a history dude and all that stuff. Let's see if we can actually keep focus. I've actually touched this guy up a little bit. It was even worse when I first started. He was a typical bug-eyed dude where, you could see white all around the eyes. So I learned some things from my sister. She taught me about some painting techniques and stuff. She actually went to art school. Like, no, don't show the top or the bottom of the pupils, at least because you can see there, that side you can see all around. But this guy, the pupils, the whites on the side. But yeah, that was my first attempt. And I did get better. Trust me. I'll keep going here. We'll show you some better stuff. All right. So I'm going to leave him aside. Now, I think the next things I painted, again, my choice of colors were odd and strange. Now, here I actually had multiples of these, and I actually went ahead. These were for Dungeons and Dragons and other, we played, Melee, Wizard, Fantasy Trip, Dungeons and Dragons, Hero Games Champions, Fantasy Hero, things like that. So mostly I got fantasy miniatures, Dragon Quest, Rune Quest, you name it. Powers and Perils. So these guys, again, there you can see some teeth. The eyes are a little better. He's looking in a certain direction, and you don't see white along. You see we've got eyebrows. But this is ogre, so I used the paint that was raw part of it called leather. I said, hey, they got leathery skin, sure. But you notice there's no. I wasn't even mixing them. I was using them. I wasn't using them straight out of the pot. I was taking water and the paint. But now I wasn't going to mix anything. I was just going to use the paint as it was. So here's my famous. This is what I established myself doing this basis. I had this lime green raw part of the paint. It says, boy, I'm not going to normally go. Let me do the base in that. That'll be nice. The guys will stand out. The figure, nice contrast. Pretend it's grass. Like, nobody liked those lime green bases. So one of the things I will be doing since I'm getting back into this painting is, I'll put some grass, little clumps of bush, whatever. I went and bought, you saw the last video, you saw a box of the various flocking stuff, and I think that's the term, flocking, right? So that was my next step up. A little better, but still my choice of colors and such was kind of crazy there. Let's see here. Whoa, someone is sticking. That's not next. Who is next? Okay, up here. No, there. Alrighty. Nope. I don't have to do them all in order, but There's a couple dudes I knew that I wanted to show you, so I'll find them, and then we'll stop trying to worry about the order of things. Okay, some of these guys are sticking in there. Well, Mike, we're not seeing anything. You can watch my antics as I go in here looking for, there they are. So, now of course we gotta zoom back in and, hello. Okay, here the light is gonna be kind of wimpy. I might have to go, yeah, over. All right, let's go over here. There's a lamp here. Whoops. Problem is with a touch lamp, if you accidentally touch it. All right, that is a problem. How to focus. Yeah, that's not working too well. Let me go back, y'all. These are kind of dark because if I hold this over, he does not want to focus. I used a yellowish paint, and I actually started mixing some stuff into it, and I actually mixed a little black ink into it. Was learning some techniques, but so there's two of these dudes. They're different models. Boy, that can't just get there. We can sort of get a little better. Maybe if I move them out of the way so it wasn't focusing on them. No. Wow. All right. They're by themselves there. Let me lay them down this way. And we zoom in like this. Yeah, that looks a little better. So loincloth, scraggly hair. You can see the teeth there. I went for the teeth. The red of the gums. There's a nice pupil, vertically between the white side. So I was learning some stuff. I was paying attention to my sister's advice. Except on the base. She was like, what are you doing? But, you have to learn on your own. So those were like trolls or ogres. My next iteration, that's very zoomed in. Let's go back to 2. All right. So I call these the Troll Brothers, or the Ogre Brothers. Sorry, there's another Troll Brothers. So these were Ralpartha, I believe. Well, I can't read that on there. But again, with the base, this guy actually had like some little bush thing he was kneeling against. So I painted that, and this guy had some rocks there. So, but still, even though this had some texture to it, there's texture, I still painted the whole thing. I should have painted those roots and grassy type stuff there, but I like the crispness of these. And I use metallic green for their like belt buckles and his medallion and the shield. Now, it's kind of odd that you wouldn't have all those pieces be the same metal, like you might have brass or iron rivets or something, and the center, sort of cone piece would be a different material. But I was, getting the white skull on his chest and the different color for like their wristbands, their bracers and stuff. And so that was sort of advancing along there on some techniques. These are the Troll Brothers. All right, I like these two guys. I started experimenting in modifying, bending very carefully. Can't remember exactly what position, but I raised this one up and I lowered this one a little bit. I think the claw normally was up. So these are the the same models. These are classic Dungeons and Dragons trolls. So this was the, sort of officially licensed D&D models. There, I can't read if they're, yeah, it's too hard to read the stamp. But like I didn't paint the bottoms, and again still using that lime green. But there are, if you can see, there is some depth there. I did a little bit of dry brushing for some highlights. I don't think these really had much of an ink wash put on them. A tiny bit, maybe, but it was mostly learning dry brushing for highlights. Let's see. So if I pull the empty ones out, I'll know I'm done with them. Again, I'm not in any particular order at this point. Here is a shambling mound. I actually did paint this base because he had so much green and some, lime green in the highlights. Here I used some inks, and I did some mixing of paint and ink together. I would like to have a little more detail on the face with maybe some brown on the nose. Get some woody, more woody material in there, but I did use brown in the base, and there's a skull there and all that stuff. This I think would have been nice to put another sort of wash over it, not too dark, but this guy I really like here. Ogre Magi, of course, the great Japanese ogre classic this is a satin paint. So he's wearing silk, right? So that's silk. And even on his, like a little metallic places on his, I don't know what you call those, pauldrons is the normal term. I don't know if in the Japanese armor, if they called them pauldrons, but the shoulder protectors, his horns up there, his fangs, his eyes. So yeah, I really like this dude. And this time I went ahead and on the base there, I actually put some dry brush, some dark green on the, kind of like vines and grass, but still that lime green base that I used almost all the time. But I really like that guy. He's really cool. He's one of the ones I'm more proud of. Your typical owlbear. So I started using some more, inks in the animals, the furs, but it gets kind of lost when it's so dark of a paint in the first place. I should have started with a lighter paint and then used the ink. So that's one of the things I learned. You can see that little, I can't remember what they call that part of the beak up by the nose that I was actually able to, there's that's a tiny bit of ink in there, actually getting the ink into the crevice around there and the two little nostrils, what do you call it? But you can see and then the teeth and the pink mouth and all that in there. So I was good at getting in there with the little brush and stuff, and I just know that my hand is nowhere near as steady. Now, did I put, nope, yeah, here's another kit where it was textured. I think I actually, if you compare, I mixed some paint. It's a slightly different than the lime green, but I didn't go back and I didn't, like dry brush that texture there, but it wasn't the exact same lime green. I was just, it's starting to learn to mix paints and things like that. Let's see here. Here's another one that I really like. Umber Hulk. So this one again had some texture to the base, like the floor stone. So I went ahead and said, okay, I'm not going to do lime green on that one. Do brown, and got some darker ink there in the cracks. So that worked good. And the skin, if you look, I think you can see that. It's actually, it was like a, almost like a makeup. It was like if someone were to use eyeshadow that had like glitter in it. That's what I can't remember who produced it or what, but that was sort of like rubbed on to the surface to get this sort of glitter on the surface of his. You can see like his back spine and this texture of his skin. So there's some inks in the cracks, and then I did some dry brushing with the light blue, and then I put over the top of that this weird like eyeshadow, like a bronze eyeshadow glitter. You can see those teeth way in there. He's got 4 eyes, not wearing glasses, 4 eyes. That's their confusion effect. They stare at you and you get paralyzed. They come up with those mandibles, and yeah, Umber Hulks. Those were nasty dudes. Oh, Umber Hulks. All right, let's keep it going here, folks. We're 16 minutes in. We got a ton of stuff. You know, your classic Minotaur, lime green base. Not much. Now you can see some places where the paint got rubbed off of some spots. Some of these I put some sealer on, some not too well. I gotta touch up and go back and do some of that stuff. This guy would tend to fall over a lot because he's very top heavy. There's musculature up top. So his stance doesn't keep him upright enough. Now, some of these in here are things that other people did. Like this is something that my sister did. You can see she actually gave this female, I think it's supposed to be a frost giant, but I'm not sure. But she actually put some makeup on her, put some shine to the lip gloss, and she used some of the metallic paints. And she was like, I'll do green for your bases, but I am not using your lime green. So I don't blame her. Yeah, you can see the different effects and all the different highlights and depths to the hair there. So yeah, she went to the Art Institute in Seattle. So let's put hers over there. So let's see here. We got working our way up. There's one in this. This is a Jinn or Genie, or no, that could be free. Well, no. It's not quite the. No, it's a Jinn. It's a Jinn. He's got a very narrow base, but he actually stands up better than the Minotaur does because he's very thin up there. So some more metallic effects on his belt buckle, sort of a weird. Well, I don't know if this is supposed to be pearls or something, or some chain, silvery. This top knot, and then to give the ink wash over his body to get his musculature emphasized. I should have gone back and then mixed the base color with a little bit of lightener to make the chest muscle stand out and try to get that 6-pack, 12-pack, whatever he's got, 24-pack Jinn. All right. Let's see here. That's empty. All right. More experiments with satin paints. So here is a ghost. I wanted them to sort of reflect light and give a hint of what might be actually translucent, which obviously you can't make a translucent metal mini. But, the dark depth of the... I think this was before the movie Scream came out. So that sort of look and that was but of course it all sort of hints from the Scream, that picture. But so there's my ghost with the satin. And then she's comes on a spectral gown. This is like a satin pearl white dress. It's supposed to be sort of diaphanous, and I'm going to kind of light and diaphanous but silvery at the same time, her being supposed to be spiritus. Quite the hair there. Yeah, I didn't go for like lip gloss effect like my sister did, but you know, I wanted a hint of pinker lips and such. All right. Here's a dude I like. He's a demon. And I did all his fingernails and toenails and his eyes there with red eyes, you know, so you can see the slits in there, and then nice purple and a good ink wash into the depths and stuff. And again, maybe I should have done some highlighting on him too, like on the fingers and his chest flab there, big Billy. But I didn't like the style that a lot of people were doing with Games Workshop or Grenadier models at the time, where they sort of did some heavy highlightings in a very broad way, not just little edges of things, but you know. So it was, to me, I just didn't go for that. Now, obviously, those two didn't. I started experimenting with painting the bases, but again, no actually flocking or anything. And this guy is a shadow, which you can see there. That's him supposed to be casting a shadow back behind him. And so I just did gray. So he's just like, it was black as black can be, and gray. That was like simple. Shadow. Let's go up a little bit so you can see some more of those as I grab stuff. So we're working our way through. We're probably gonna have to cut this short and do another one. I don't think you want to see them all at once. I did a bunch of these are like 3 rock formations of the same kind, and I just did different colors and, you know, different brown and different wash, and again, they could have used some dry brown. Oh man, those only cost $1 each back then. Those are well. My good old Dungeons and Dragons standard elemental types: stone golem, clay golem, flesh golem, and unfortunately, I never did get an iron golem. But here I went and, you know, she's supposed to be like Frankenstein type dude, right? Flesh golem, and so I used a green ink over his skin, like rot. And because of the green, I was thinking, oh, it's kind of like the Hulk. So I made him have the purple pants. Yes, folks, in the comic books, the Green Hulk, and Banner would always be wearing purple pants. You know, good old comic book contrast stuff. Stone golem. I'm blocking that light here. Come closer, more light. Come into the light. Clay golem. I don't think we used clay golem that often. Normally it was the flesh, the stone, and the iron golem was the big thing. The clay golem was kind of, I think, maybe that was 2nd edition D&D. I can't remember. I've been right at the end. Those were in my later, you know, right before I stopped. All right, what do we got up here? A bunch of these are just primed Lizardmen. That was one of the things I was gonna start doing more, like armies, not to do army battle, but for Dungeons and Dragons, you know, armies of orcs or armies of skeletons, especially. Oh, okay, I got a lot of skeletons. You know, that's true. A lot of these are bulks of dudes. Skeletons primed. Whoops. Yep, more skellies. Let's see if we do some of the bigger ones here. Those will go a little pretty fast. So I like this snake. This is one of the ones because it had all the rocks up. Of course, I did brown and gave it some ink and a couple of different brown colors. But the scales, the top, and then the underbelly. And yeah, you see the, the tongue, this side. Look at those on the top there. Yeah, that was some slow, detailed work. Sitting there doing that stuff. That was crazy time. And then some others are just like really quick and easy. Here's the classic crappy lime, but I spent some time to get in there and get the teeth in the mouth, get the eyes. But then it's just like, okay, I'm going to make this just a Black Panther star displacer beast. Did some stuff, and of course, because he's so dark, the ink wash, you can't see nothing. There's like no, and I didn't want to go back and no, I just don't want to highlight. There's some of like if I had dry brush the tentacle parts, and maybe just some little edges of stuff, that would have been good. But no, this was a quick and dirty one. Had to get the displacer beast to the table. Let's do it quick. All right. Here's another case. This might have been, I might have bent these before I bent those two Troll Brothers. The two Troll Brothers, I bent one arm. These, I bent the wings on. These are classic gargoyles. I think these were like a Julie Guthrie sculpt. So some I bent the wings down a little bit, some up. Did the horns, the fingernails, the eyes, the tusks. Did a little bit of like a lightning dry brush, lightening, not lightning, on his nose. Made that stand out a bit, etc. On the back, you can see the veins are darker. Unfortunately, that's rub off of some of the paint, not a highlight like it maybe should be, but yeah, so I like those guys. Those are kind of cool. But yeah, you got to be really careful when you start bending. Of course, these days, there's, no lead, and it's all pewter, and it's either too soft or too hard. I don't know what they do to alloy nickel and whatnot, or, of course, plastic. Let's see. Here's not even primed. That's more lizardmen type dudes. I had plans before I totally got out of it, and all the stuff that I had, unopened blisters and boxes of minis, I think I mentioned I gave to my sister and let her sell them off on eBay. So these are your typical molds. Maybe if I keep one in here up close. Molds and oozes and slimes. So, green mold. Gray ooze, I think that was supposed to be. Yellow mold, more orange. Now, I've had arguments over this. See that eye, folks? See if it's gonna. He doesn't want to do it. There's the eye. This is an ochre jelly. People go, ochre? What? Ochre is supposed to be. Ochre is a range of pigments, from yellowish, orangish up to brownish red. And so that's what I went for. This was my ochre jelly. And I've had people argue the heck out of this. And I'm like, dude, read the damn definition of ochre. Leave me alone. So, let's see. What else do we have in here? These stones were from the Giant series. The little, was it Grenadier? They had like a giant line, and so that this one, I think, was this rune plinth, I think. And I don't know what happened to I may have actually gotten rid of or sold off or traded away. Yeah, this is the forest one. It actually says that's stone. So I don't know if she's stone or what. I don't know. Is she stone? No. Here, this was one of my, or at least of a different kind of an ink that I got. And the way I did very light staining on the stone. And then this is obviously a sacrificial altar, right? Those skulls, a sort of a stone dais. And it made it look like it had some kind of stony, carved, hewn surface, and then that blood stain. I really loved that blood stain. That was really cool. I like that one. Other terrain dealies. So that's supposed to be like a boiling pot of who knows what, right? So mixing some paints in there, including some metallics. And again, of course, here we've got, not my lime green base. Because, again, there was actual stone textures there. So I put some effort into the books and scrolls and stuff. Yeah, I actually went in there and wrote stuff. Look at that. Can you read that? Now, if that's supposed to be Greek or so, I don't know, or something. But yeah, dang. Oh my God, I didn't do that, did I? Was that just a dry brush texture? Did I actually do that? Good Lord, please tell me I didn't do that. Oh my God. No, please. Gotta have your summoning circle, your pentagram, etc. Good stuff. Loot, treasure. Come on, baby. Sacks of coins and it's a spilled open treasure chest, I think. Dead dude. There's a hand holding a sword. Another sundry stuff. Yeah, baby. All right. So, let's see. We're getting close to the end, folks. 31 minutes. Let's see here. All right, so that's just a simple wolf, small one. Tiny. It's supposed to be a fox, but these are blink dogs. Yeah, you remember blink dogs, the teleporting dogs? Of course, some of us, we call them dink blogs. Of course, that was before the internet, so there wasn't such thing as a blog. We just called the blink dogs dink blogs for the fun of it. Various bears, big ass grizzly bear, excuse my French. Yeah, you can see the teeth there and all that. But again, a little too dark. I should have started lighter with the brown, relied on the inks, washes, and a little, and then some highlighting. It would have come out better. I learned start lighter often and then work your way up to that stuff. Okay, and then you got to have wolves, right? So then I went crazy. These are all various, many different wolf poses. These guys are supposed to be hellhounds. Breathing fire. And these ones, the more reddish, I don't think those are hellhounds, but I think those are maybe supposed to have been dire wolves or some particular ones. But I made some more brownish ones, more grayish wolves. Have a variety. Variety. Had a lot of... And then, the weird thing is, a little rant of mine. Later when I started getting back into stuff, like in 2017, 2018, buying stuff and anticipating to playing Dungeons & Dragons again, that so often the wolves in the pre-painted collectible Dungeons & Dragons sets were like rares and stuff. It's like, dude, I should be able to have tons of wolves, not have it be rare and have to spend $10 or $15 to get one stupid wolf. So if you're out there and you are doing a line of miniatures and you ever think of the stupid idea to make them collectible in booster packs, don't make wolves anything other than a common. Right, these are things that my sister did. She did these two skeletons. Look at the intricacy of that drum there. It's like a dragon foot that's been hollowed out and turned into a skeletal drum. And this guy looks like he looks like he's got some rotten grizzle on his bones and stuff. And then these are more skeletal archers. That's a cool. But again, I was planning on making a big army of undead. That was my plan. All right, let's see here. We already looked at. Yes, those were the bears. Oh, wow. What are these? These were. It looks like more undead, and that's a zombie. There's some zombies in there. primer ready to make the like I said, I had a problem. I was had a sort of an obsessive acquisitive disorder. So many skeletons, so many minis, so little time. Tip of the iceberg, folks. And you know, there's more elsewhere, but this is what I had from before that I was gonna paint before I gave up the whole shebang. All right, so we're getting near the end. The last thing I'll show you is well, I got a few more things, and then there's the player character type minis that I did. All right, this is dragon that my sister did. This is a black dragon. You know, all that shading and depth and highlighting, all the dry brushed highlights and stuff. I did a red dragon. I have no idea where it is. It's not in here. I don't know. Did it break? Did I sell it? Did I lose it? Did someone steal it? I do not know. But I did a red dragon. And he's gone. Let's see. I'm not going to look at those. There's some more modern stuff that got put in here, stored in here. There's like, you know, some plastic minis, rats, and other weird dudes that I bought. Here, let me see if I can pull this thing out. It's a big tray. All right, so good old Tyrannosaur. This is one also early on when I started working with the inks. And you can see a little bit of the highlights, the dry brushing there on his skin. You know, I did all those teeth in the mouth. I can't get the there. There's the little eye. There's a little bit of lighter green within and high brushed on the skin, but again, I started a little too dark. Shouldn't have started. Yeah, he's got his nails there, but again, he's got stupid lime base. Even though there's some texture on that, I just pure lime in the coconut. I like this one. This is a purple worm, of course. This is a wasn't really supposed to be a purple worm. It's the wrong side. Purple worms are much bigger and wider. Like this guy could barely swallow a human or an elf or something. I think this was supposed to be, well, remoras are supposed to have like wings or at least big winged ears or something. So I don't know. He's like a little purple worm or something. I painted him as a purple worm. That's what I used him for. But all those little side sort of feelers, crawly, silly things. He's not like a, you know, he was designed to get in underneath stuff and help propel him. So that's why I made him a purple worm. But I liked him. He's not too bad. And then Firebat. One of my friends said it was sort of reminiscent of the Doombat, the Lunar Empire in RuneQuest, but I think that's supposed to be much bigger than this guy. This guy is like the size of a hobbit, a halfling. He's holding his wings up to make him look taller. He's not very big. Let's see, I think. All right. This is not going back in. I should just leave it and put it in later, but sometimes my meandering OCD. Let's see. That's some terrain from Heroscape that got stuffed in there. All right, so we've got player character type dudes. Now, real quick, this is like, I think, the first one that my sister painted for me. It's a female dwarven cleric or fighter cleric. Where did it go? I just dropped it. There she is. And I was like, here, use that lime green. I want and she said, no, I can't. So she modeled it with gray and stuff. But after that, she refused to use my damn lime green. Bless her heart. She put up with my stupidity. But yeah, lots of fine touch-ups, blended paints, layers, metallics. This was probably the next one she did. And again, with the eye makeup and the lips, and a lot of mixed paints for this skin tone. She's sort of supposed to be like Uhura in that one episode where they, I think like the mirror world, whatever it's when they're the bad guys and the good guys, and that's like the naughty Uhura sort of was sort of the inspiration, I think. All right, so let's just look here. There's bearded wizard. Nope, yep, having a background there helps a little bit. Your typical ranger or archer. His face structure. Now he has a weird eye. The sculpt on this on one side looks really weird, so I didn't know what to do with that. But his face structure sort of looks like Martin Landau to me. If you imagine Martin Landau, if you know who that is, Mission Impossible or Space 1999, as a ranger or something. This is sort of my Othello, the more powerful, strong. Of course, the red shield's kind of weird. Just plain like that. It really should have like a decal. I never got into the decal stuff. I should have. Or, I didn't have the painting skill to paint, a design myself without having some texture to build onto or something. I suppose I could have tried it and just found a design. I will try that stuff in the future, but here's another dude, one where this might have been my first use of the metallic paint. That's his sleeves, and at his chest, that's, under the V-neck, that's a metallic green. The idea was like, oh, he's got a silk shirt on underneath. This might have been the first adventurer mini that I painted, besides that barbarian, with the first one. It's kind of an odd choice of colors around here. He's got that weird tie on his helmet, which I couldn't explain what that's supposed to be or mean, or like, is it like if his helmet gets knocked off, he's got this thing attached to it and it's attached to his belt and he'll be able to get his helmet back? I don't know. So I didn't know what to do with that. This is my druid. And he's got some of that metallic paint on his scabbard. I'm not sure what I was thinking in terms of like, I mean, again, as a druid, he shouldn't have metallic things at all, right? So unless that's some special, mother of pearl or something that's been stained with green berry juice or whatever, you can make druids get, hardened armor in various ways if you're creative. Dragon scales and shells and, special magical pieces of wood and whatever, go for it. Do it. Typical kind of pikeman halberd. Obviously, a pike is much, much, much longer. This is way, way short for a pole arm. It doesn't even extend down from the bottom there. He's holding it way at the bottom. So I don't know. This might be some Becta Corbin, Bill Gizarm, all those magical, mystical, strange pole arms that Gary Gygax came up with the strange names for, which supposedly they're mostly actually something in history, but some of them are so obscure that really. And this gal is supposed to be like a thief. She's got a dagger. Often we'd use her for a healer character. You ignore the dagger and say, oh, it's a healer. She's a healer priest. All right, there's one last drawer here in this, folks. You've been so patient. 44 minutes. If anyone actually watches at the end, bless your heart. You should win a prize. I don't have any prizes right now. But, all right, let's look at the ones that my sister painted first. This is like a monk, like a shugenja, I guess, like a Japanese priest. It could be a Zen Buddhist. It could be, but all the folds in the thing. He's got a vestment cloth over his wrist. He's carrying some kind of a, I don't know if that's supposed to be an incense bowl or maybe it's a bowl for alms, collecting rice or something. And this, oh my God, it's the detail she put on this geisha's robe. That design on there was not it's not part of the sculpt at all. She just said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna make this nice silk kimono and I'm gonna put this pattern on it." And she spent all that time doing that. Oh my God, that is amazing. These here, there's 3 of these. They had a line of figures where it was like same character, 3 different poses. This is like an elf, an elven thief. My girlfriend at the time painted these. Kim, who knows where she's at if she ever sees this. Hi, Kim. She was my last girlfriend before my first wife. Yeah. And she gave it a try. She wasn't really into role-playing that much, but she, bless her heart, she gave it a try. All right, so here's my sumo wrestler. Did a little bit of the depth there to accentuate his pecs and all that stuff. This was a fun. He was one of the villains in one of my campaigns. Kwong, can't remember what I had his second name being. Not Qui Gong Midi and not Quang Tri, but somewhere in between there. This was before that series of Star Wars. This was during the time period, probably around Return of the Jedi. 2 swords, but yeah, he was an important dude. Here's your typical Toshiro Mifune inspired Ronin samurai out there. Kind of like Yojimbo. Here is a wizard type that could serve also as a druid. Because I got the green cloak there. But yeah, druids aren't usually wand types dudes, but you can say that's a stick. That's his magical focus wand, stick, twig, oak branch of magical mojo in the forest. And the last one is one of Kwong's bodyguard dudes. Like supposed to be a sunflower shield and stuff. So that is the minis, folks, that I painted, and some by my sister and some by my old girlfriend, one of them. I got rid of a ton of minis. many boxes of, the old lead alloyed, it was just about the time when I was getting out when I guess it was latest 80s, earliest 90s when they were like basically trying to get rid of all the lead and just stick with other stuff. I'm going to zoom out here, and these are the ones that I've sort of piled all over. You can see those dudes. I put a lot back in the trays, but so some of my favorites, are this snake guy, the Japanese ogre. Umber Hulk's pretty good with that sort of bronzing surface technique, that kind of eye makeup. I like my troll brothers. Most of the character types are okay. I don't think they're anything special. You know, the ones that my sister, like that geisha with that robe. Oh my God, that's just tremendously awesome. I keep this guy around, remembering that he was worse. This is like he had at least 2 touch-ups, if not 3. He was horrible. Um, but anyway, that's all my painted mini goodies. So we'll probably try to do one of these every couple of days or so. We're not spend this amount of time looking at things because it'll be stuff that's unopened or, you know, just in Ziplocs or in things, and we might break into some of the kits to take a look at what's in them, and uncover more boxes, like what's in the box, you know, what multiple groups of cool stuff. But those should go faster, shorter. But again, Meandering Mike here in the Man Cave of Madness, really appreciating you patient folks that watch this to the very end. I wish I could all send you a box of minis or something, but can't at this point. But maybe at some point I'll get rid of some of this downsize, and I'll do a giveaway of minis and stuff. So all y'all who've watched here, and if you comment, you know, I'll make sure I give you guys notification if I do another giveaway of minis. So, gonna sign off here. It's Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness. It's after midnight for sure now. And all you folks, take care and enjoy your minis, and ciao.